And this afternoon, we have a bit of a developing story for you where we understand that the talks between all teacher unions and the Ministry of Education have broken down. The teacher union started engaging the Ministry of Education since yesterday over the concerns that the appointment of the new Director General for the Ghana Education Service was undue, and that Dr. Eric Nkansa is not fit to hold office. That has also translated into some more concerns, which led the labor unions, the teacher unions particularly, and the Ministry of Education to start talks at the Employment Ministry yesterday. But the latest we're getting is that that talk has broken down. We'll get you the very latest shortly. But first, we've been looking at the impact of the 48-hour withdrawal of services by teachers in all pre-tertiary institutions across the country. First, my colleague Richard Kojanyako has been engaging some school children as we try and assess the impact of the industrial action.
So this is the Kanda AMA Basic School. It's actually a cluster of schools. We also have the Ring Road East Junior High School, and it's obvious that the teachers are not in class. The kids have a field day. Others are playing. They are doing their own thing. They are not in the classroom. They are loitering around. You see a couple of teachers, but they are not teaching. The schools are opened all right, but the kids are simply not engaged in any academic activity. So you see some of the kids playing football. Others are engaging in all manner of things. What's your name?
Yeah.
Which class are you?
Class 3.
Class 3.
Yes.
So where are your teachers?
They are on strike.
They are on strike?
Yes.
What did they tell you yesterday? Were you in school?
Yes.
What did you learn yesterday?
I learned about how to read English language.
Your teachers came to school yesterday?
No.
So you learned it on your own?
Yes.
But today, what have you been doing?
Me and my friends got four, and then they are teaching us.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
Where are your teachers?
Sir, please, I don't know.
Did they come to school today?
No, sir.
Yesterday too?
No, sir.
So what have you been doing the entire day?
Sir, please, we was in the class and they come and locked the door.
You were in the class and they came to lock the doors?
Yes. It was break and we go out for break.
Okay. So is it lunch time or breakfast?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're enjoying your meal?
Yes.
Okay. That's fine. So let me try speaking with more of the school people. Come. Don't run away from me. What's your name?
My name is Sandra.
Sandra. Where are your teachers?
They are not there.
They are not there. What have you been told? Where are they?
They have gone to strike.
They are going to strike?
Yes.
They've gone on strike, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir.
So what have you been doing ever since you came to school today? Tell me.
We have been playing ampe and we play football too.
Are you enjoying yourself?
Yes.
You wish every day were today, right?
Yes, sir.
You don't want your teachers back?
We want our teachers back.
Okay. All right. So what are you telling your teachers and government?
I'm telling them that they should come to school and come and show us things so that we'll learn.
Okay. So this is one of the school pupils here telling me a lot about what they have been through. So tell me, what's your name?
My name is Mozambique Osman.
Okay. So what have you been doing today?
We have not been learning, but we wish our teachers were in school today to teach us, because we will lose a lot before our teachers will come back. And because I don't see if the president we are pleading the president to bring us to do what our teachers need, because some of the parliamentarians, their students are not attending government school. We are the ones attending the government, and it will affect us. It will not affect them. So their future is further than us. We are now coming into the future. So they should help us, and we are pleading them to make our teachers wish for them. That is what we are pleading the government to fulfill. But we heard that they are going for a meeting today, and we know that they will bring a positive answer for us.
Hey, how did you know all of that they were going for a meeting today? You listen to the news a lot?
Yes, I listen to the news, because yesterday I heard the news, and we are all sad yesterday, because we knew that today, yesterday will be a better day for us. We came to school, we did not learn anything, none of the teachers were in the school. Most of us were misbehaving on the compound. That's not good for us, and we need to improve our life. So we are pleading in the government to bring us back our teachers.
Of the students there sharing their concerns, and it's not getting any better, because the latest we're getting is that talks have broken down between the teacher unions and the Ministry of Education. Let's get the latest for you. Richard is still monitoring that engagement at the Employment and Labour Relations Ministry. Richard, what's the latest?
So thank you very much, Blessed. I'm not really at the Ministry of Labour Relations, but I'm currently at the national headquarters of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Yesterday, we were at the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations. The teacher unions were there, the Minister of Education, the Minister of Employment, plus the Deputy, and other important stakeholders were there as a result of the strike that has been called by the teacher unions. Today, we were on the ground. Yesterday, we were there, and today, what happened was that in many of the schools, the teachers were absent. In some of the schools that the teachers were present, they were not assisting or no academic work was ongoing. There were a few of the schools that we visited that it was the head that was actually engaging the kids, because they've been instructed to keep the schools open. They should not really close down the schools as a result of that action that has been taken by the 3 teacher unions. So today, we've been expecting that they will return to the table to finish the business they have, so that we would know whether the strike that has been called would be suspended or it will go on. But let me engage the General Secretary of NAT, Mr. Thomas Musa. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and you're welcome.
Thank you. So why is the meeting not taking place now?
Well, I cannot say whether the meeting will take place or not, but I can only speak on the side of the unions, what really has happened. Like I indicated earlier on, we started sounding alarm bell for about 3 weeks now, that there is an issue that must be addressed. But it looks like when we were sounding alarm bell, nobody listened. And we gave deadline to the issues that we felt must be addressed. So last week, just as we were about to address the media regarding the issues, our attention was drawn to a letter. So when we finished with the press conference last week, Friday, we went to the ministry to go and respond to the invitation letter given to us by the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations. And after responding, they wanted to know our concerns. So we tabled all the concerns to them. We could not finish, and yesterday we continued with the meeting. And yesterday, as of the time that we were leaving, we all agreed that, look, today at 2 p.m., we'll meet to continue with our discussion on where we left off. We'll meet today and continue. It was also agreed at the meeting that the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations will send invitation letters to all the parties to attend. So those letters really went out there, and all the unions received our letters. Then this afternoon, just as we were preparing to attend the meeting at 2 p.m., another letter came dated 8 November 2022 with the content pointing to the fact that the matter has been referred to the Labour Commission, and the Labour Commission has been invited to take action. By the content of that letter, and by letter also going to the Labour Commission, it simply means that the National Labour Commission, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, they've declared a deadlock. And that is why the matter has been referred to the National Labour Commission. And so it will be difficult to respond to any other thing. So we are now waiting on the National Labour Commission, and we'll take it out from there.
As it stands, NATS is not taking part in the meeting, or the meeting will simply not come off?
the teacher unions are not taking part because the matter has been referred to the National Labour Commission. You see, you invited somebody yesterday. 2 letters. The first one came. The first one was dated 7th November for us to attend the meeting. The 8th November, you followed it up with another letter, telling us that the matter has been referred to the National Labour Commission. So the appropriate forum to now meet is the National Labour Commission. So we will be there.
Run by us the concerns of NAT, because it seems that what is being championed is the appointment of the new Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Were there other concerns prior to you calling the strike?
Yes, the National Council of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, the governing council, at each National Council meeting, issued a communique. Some of the issues raised in that particular communique has to do with the revocation of the appointment of the Director General. Also, the opposition of the organization to the contract extension of Mr. Anthony Boateng. We also spoke about the issue of the refund of that's the 44 Ghana cedi 55 pesos, which has to do with the laptop refund, which His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he came to our National Delegate Conference in January, specifically in Kumasi, promised that the money should be refunded to teachers. And we've been following up. The thing has not been done. We are talking also about the issues of a professional development, continuous professional development allowance. There are concerns with the lower ranks promotion. We're talking about the issue teachers in deprived areas, the allowances that must be paid to them. And we are there, and then we also talk about promotion to the grade of Director 2 and Director 1, among others.
Yeah. You also had concerns about regional directors of education who have gone on retirement but still are holding on to their post.
Those ones, when the issue started, we gave a deadline. And so now all of them have been asked to proceed, and they've gotten people to act, and the Public Services Commission is in the process of interviewing. I think they did it about 2 weeks.
And of course, a bit of a challenge there, listening to the rest of the conversation with Richard Kojo-Nyarko. Of course, there's a statement to that effect. We'll be bringing that to you shortly. Clearly, it appears that for the teacher unions, they are unhappy about the latest development. And so government is just providing a bit of an update there that the attention of the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations is now being drawn to the concerns raised by the British area teacher unions on the appointment of a new Director General for the Ghana Education Service, dated the 2nd of November 2022. Point one is that after all of the notice that government is taking and has decided to engage the groups, the Labour unrest has implications, and because of that, the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations quickly invited leadership of the said unions to a meeting on Friday, the 4th of November 2022, for some amicable resolution to the impasse. Now, point three is indicating that even though the leadership honored the invitation and attended the meeting in the conference room, they had already declared a nationwide strike, and all attempts to get them to call off the strike have proven futile. So because of this, the Chief Director at the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations is indicating that he's been directed to bring the matter to the attention of the National Labour Commission for its urgent requisite action. So clearly, government has decided to take this matter to the National Labour Commission. We're awaiting what the adjudication process will be. Very shortly, we'll speak to the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition. Of course, they are raising some concerns about the latest development. But first, it appears that we have our connections back to Richard Kojo-Nyarko. Let's listen in to that conversation, which is underway with the NAT General Secretary, Thomas Musa.
Where 2 or 3 Ghanaians have come together, you find a teacher there. There are even places where you don't have network. Teachers will be there. So it will take time for the information to go to all the places where the teachers are. But we are hopeful that by the close of today or tomorrow, they will all get the information.
So you are not returning to the classroom as it stands now. There is no hope in sight for the students, school pupils that can't get their teachers back in the class.
When we get to the Labour Commission, we will cross that particular bridge. Currently, we were at the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, and we had a mind of meeting today. And the matter has been referred to the National Labour Commission. So when we get there, we will cross.
What do you say about people that say that you are using the kids as a bargaining chip for your demands?
We will never do that. We are professionals. We are professionals. And so we will never ever go to that particular...
Currently you are on strike.
That is not the issue. That is not the issue. I started by telling you that when there are concerns, and a worker is raising it, the employer is under obligation to listen. Because the labor law provides that the employer and the worker, they must keep the communication line open. So the moment you close the communication line, you create a barrier. And it has a danger and the potential of affecting industrial relations. And that is where we found ourselves.
So as it stands now, our schools will remain closed?
You see, the issue there is this. We are talking about the CEO of the Ghana Education Service.
But what would you say?
Chief implementer of the policies.
But people are also saying that you are not the appointing authority, the appointer is there and he makes that appointment.
These things are laughable. Let me explain something. You see, when you look at Article 195 carefully, take your time and look at it. Two stakeholders are mentioned there. You have the governing council, you have the president, who is the appointing authority. Then we have the councils, the governing council, whatever it is, which is also a stakeholder. Then you have the Public Services Commission. Now, when you come to the Parent Act, which has to do with the Pre-Tertiary Education Act, specifically Section 19. Section 19 provides for, say, we have the president there, we have the Ghana Education Service Council, then we have the Public Services Commission. Having mentioned this particular law, the next law to mention is the Labour Act. The Labour Act provides that the teacher union should have a collective agreement with their employer. And in that collective agreement, we negotiated for all the items there. And one of the items negotiated for is called scheme of service. And in that scheme of service, the highest rank in the scheme of service, which is in our collective agreement, is the Director General. Maybe somebody wants to tell me that the collective agreement is not a legal document. Yes, I want somebody to tell me that the collective agreement now we have is not a legal. If it's not a legal document, then certainly the labor law will have to be thrown away. Because the labor law requires that there should be collective agreement. That Labor Act was passed by our own parliament. And it is the part of that particular parent law that we have our collective agreement. And per that particular collective agreement, since 1974, requires us that any person that occupies that particular seat should be educationist. From 1974. We have had people like Dr. Emin, Dr. Kwesi, we have...
Samuel Kunfi. He was one time a Director General of the Ghana Education.
Certainly, he was. But he had a background in education. Check. Go and check. He has background in
I know that he was teaching at the University of Cape Coast.
Yes. You see, the fact that somebody is teaching at the university and the person becomes a Director General, that should tell you that the person has some background in education. It is like all the professors that were appointed. They were once upon a time, they were having some background in education. And they have to leave to go and work at the university. And so when there is a vacancy and you bring them in, so for example, when somebody from Winneba also comes into the service, it doesn't mean that the person is not a professional teacher. No. No, it's not an educationist. No. But maybe because the person that is going through the ranks, the person ended up working at Winneba, KNUST on Legon.
People are also giving example that Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, he is a medical doctor and was able to be appointed as the Minister of Education, where they feel he did well in his tenure as a Minister of Education. So why don't you give Dr. Nkansa a try?
You don't give the technocrat work to a politician. The Director General's work is a technocrat job. You need a professional to do that particular work. Minister, you don't need a professional. Minister is about policy matters. Either the policy should be distributive, redistributive, or regulatory. Then when the minister wants a policy to be done, there are people in the ministry that will get it done for the minister. It is for that the chief director in the ministry is a professional. The chief director is a professional, but the politician is not. In the same way, in the Ghana Education Service, the Director General is the chief technocrat. He is supposed to implement the policies, coordinate them, and evaluate them. And he is the person who is supposed to supervise the regional directors, the district directors, up to the school level. That is the work of the Director General. He is the anchor. He holds all the system together. It is not the job for the politician. I repeat, the seat, that particular seat, is for technocrat. Because the person is coming to implement policies. He is not coming to issue out policies. No. You are an implementer. When you come to occupy that, you must know what the job is about. So, for example, when you are going to the classroom, there are three main things you go with. You go with the curriculum, you go with your content, then you go with pedagogy. If you enter the classroom and the children are before you, you have three main things in mind. You are looking at the cognitive, that's how I can affect the mind of the child. You look about the affective and the psychomotor domain. These are things that you are taught as a professional. Okay, so when you go to the school, you know what you look out for. You know that this particular policy, it will not work. This one will work. This one will do this. This one will bring this one. Because you, the chief technocrat, you understand the job. And the worrying aspect of the whole thing is that if you look at the current act, the Pre-Tertiary Education Act, the previous one, the power to terminate the appointment of a staff was given to the Ghana Education Service Council. But under the new law, it has been given to the Director General.
Okay, so finally, before we go, what do you tell parents who are watching you right now that the schools should remain open, children should go to school, be playing, or, what are you telling parents? And then the school people, they've been appealing.
The Ghana Education Service will take care of that. That is the work of the employer. Yes, in as much as we are stakeholders, we have concerns. Okay, the schools belong to the employer. As whether the schools should be closed or not, that is the work of the employer.
As it stands now, the strike continues.
Certainly, the matter has been referred to the National Labour Commission, and there we shall go.
Yes. So, as it stands now, there is no hope in sight for the thousands of school pupils at the basic level, the thousands of school pupils at the senior high school levels, because the strike continues unabated. A deadlock has been declared. The teacher unions were preparing to go to that table, the meeting that was held on Monday ended inconclusively, and so they were to return today. But before they would get ready to get there, there is a letter that is directing them that the matter has been handed over to the National Labour Commission, and so that is where they are. They would be having the meeting and that kind of negotiation. So I'm afraid the schools would be there, and now the challenge has been thrown to the employer, the Ghana Education Service, whether to close the school or not to close the school. So the question to close the school or not to close the school is a very difficult one, and it lies on the doorstep of the Ghana Education Service. So from the headquarters of the National Association of Teachers, my name is Richard Kwejinyako. Over to you, Blessed.
And thanks, Richard, for giving us that update. Indeed, we're just getting the latest there. The talks indeed have broken down. We just brought you a statement a couple of minutes ago from the Employment and Labour Relations Ministry. But the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition says it is getting worried about the latest developments. Let's bring in Benis Imperi-Jechi. She is National Coordinator for GNEC. Thank you for your time here on The Pulse. So it's clear you've listened to the arguments of NAT. NAT says it started with the negotiations with government, and yet government has decided to take the matter to the National Labour Commission. As we speak, no academic activities are taking place on campuses across the country. You're worried, isn't it?
Yes, please. We are so much worried about this situation. Looking at the issues that was outlined by the NAT president, you see that there are a series of concerns about teachers that has not been addressed, and teaching and learning outcomes solely depend on the teacher as a major stakeholder to make sure that teaching goes very well in the various schools. So if the welfare and some petty things about teachers are not being addressed, then it is a serious concern. For us as a coalition, what we are looking at is the welfare of the children, and then their future and the outcome they will bring out of school, especially at the basic level. Already the expenditure at the basic level in terms of education keeps going down. Education financing at the basic level keeps going down because of the priority we also have for our senior high school. It is a very good policy, but we are saying that the welfare of the children is really at stake. So please, the teacher unions, the government, the ministry, they should be able to come to a consensus so that the children go to school. I got so scared when it ended that strike continues unabated. Please, it is so much worrying. Our welfare is with the children. Some of the children who spoke in the news earlier were seen just playing around. Now looking at the cost of transportation and even feeding for the children to go and be in the school without a teacher teaching them is further loss of the state resources. So please, the welfare of the children is so much of a concern.
But then, Benis, at this point, some people are accusing the teacher unions of using the children as a negotiation tool, which some believe is not the appropriate thing for NAT to be doing at this point. At least return to, apologies for that, return to the classrooms and then continue with engagements or talks with government.
Yes, please. I don't think we'll say that the teacher union are using the children as a yardstick to demand what they need. We are also not happy that they are not in the classrooms. So the negotiation should be at a level where we will know that maybe something good is coming out of it. Then they can return to the classroom. But we are also pleading the teacher union. Once the negotiations are ongoing, then it is very good that we go back to the classroom for the welfare of the children as we wait for something to come out of the negotiations. But the NAT president's worry was that in a meeting that is supposed to come on, the meeting has been cancelled. So what is the way forward? That is why we would say as a coalition that please, both parties should resolve the issue as soon as possible, so that the strike doesn't continue, but it ends immediately. That is our plea to both parties, the government and then the teacher union.
But definitely there's going to be an impact on the academic calendar already. The attempts have started to try and correct what was disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. But now, looking at what's happening now in terms of the breakdown in talks, that may further complicate matters, isn't it?
That is our very fear. It will really, really complicate matters because the children has lost so much academic days already, and they are struggling to cover up, to meet up to the curriculum and all that they have to learn within the period that they lost. So if the strike should add up to continue, then it is going to be a very crisis in the education sector at the basic level. It is based on this that we are pleading with both parties to resolve the issue as soon as possible.
But
please,
practically
don't want the strike to continue.
Right, but practically speaking, looking at the demands the teacher unions are putting on the table now, it appears that dealing with them may take some time if we're to go by the list of demands they're putting out there. That may further push the strike into a few more days or weeks, don't you think so?
Yes, and then I think we said earlier that it is about communication. The teachers have tailored up their concerns to the government for it to be addressed on a series of issues. So it is about communication. If there has been a promise that something will be given to the teachers, like the refund of the laptop balance, once it has been promised, it should be done. And the subsequent one can be negotiated. So the communication is very, very important. So I'm sure that if the communication is in such a way that issues will be addressed or it cannot be addressed, I think it is very key. So the communication should go very well for both parties to understand, so that they know that this is what we are all working at the end of the day. This is what we are getting and this is what we are receiving. So the negotiation should be looked at in terms of how it is being communicated to both parties so that it can be duly addressed.
From the position of JNEC, finally, would you say that we're at crisis level? Are we there yet?
This is education in crisis. That is if the strike continues. Because if we've already lost some days due to COVID and strike is coming up at the education sector, it is a crisis or education in emergency that needs to be attended to as soon as possible.
Bernice Mberi-Juchi is the national coordinator for the Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition. We're grateful for your time. Let's